Hi everybody. Sorry that I can't be in class today, but I'm going to continue from our tutorial that we left off on last week, which is a single car garage in Detailer. So we had already gone through a lot of these steps, and perhaps in the future I'll make a full video, but for now I'm just going to continue on from where we left off. And we got our walls up, we got our cave racing in, and then we also generated a 3D preview. So now I'm going to continue on page 19 and do the roof. So pull that aside. I'm going to open up Detailer. I'm going to go to File and Open and navigate to my saved file, Single Car Garage. That's from last week. And I'll go ahead and open that up. Alright. So what we want to do is, once we've opened the project, we want to add a new plan from the toolbar. So if I click over here, click on this icon, it'll give me a new plan. You can right click on that new plan, go to Properties, and change the name to RF. And we're going to set the elevation here to 96 inches. And hit OK. So basically what we've done is we've created a brand new floor plan. It exists 96 inches up in the air, which is right where the walls, the top plate of the walls are. So if I click one of these, go to Properties. Let's see. Go to the main tab. The height of this wall is 8 feet, which is 96 inches. Alright. I'm going to click on the Select Another Plan as a template icon, which is actually this one right here. And we're going to use the walls plan as a template. Click OK. Sherman RF. And I'm going to hit F12. Oh, you know what? I might have been in the wrong one. So if I'm in RF and I use walls as my template, okay, there we go. That's what should happen. So now if I hit F12, so basically we just want to make sure that we use the walls plan as a guide while we're doing our roof. We just want to, we're in a new plan. We're about to draw the roof, but we want to be able to use the walls that we had already drawn to draw the roof on top of. So this is more or less an underlay. So to avoid confusion, you could delete the studs from this drawing. You will then end up with a plan showing only the outline of the walls. So if you window several at a time and press delete, you can definitely do that. So let's just keep it that way. Let's not delete it. So right now what we want to do is draw a rectangle by selecting the outer corner of the bottom left to outer corner of the top right. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and drag. My start coordinate is going to be, make sure you have your end snap on. And we're going to snap from this corner all the way to this corner here. And next thing we want to do is create a roof overhang. So click on the offset button. That's this one right here. And the command line, it's asking us for an offset distance. I'm going to type in 12 inches. Press enter. And you'll then be asked to select the object, which is the rectangle that we just drew, and the side or side/direction to offset to. So hover the cursor over the center of any side of the rectangle until a cursor triangle appears. So there it is. And now it wants to know which way I want to offset. And so I do want to offset outwards. That's how roof overhangs work. So I'm going to click that side. Okay. So let's click on that. It's just a rectangle, but it's definitely 12 inches here, and it's definitely going in the correct direction. Go ahead and save your file. Make sure that you're saving often. Make sure for the next step, you want to make sure that your center snap is on, which is this one right here. That's your mid snap. I'm going to type in L in the command line. Just type in L, hit enter, and draw a line. And what we want to do is draw a line from this midpoint to this one right here. And that's going to represent the ridge of our roof. So still in the line command. In this software, line command works similarly to the polyline command. So it kind of wants me to keep going and create more lines. But I'm just going to hit escape a couple times and end the command. That's all I wanted to do, was draw that in one line. Alright, so now on step 13, we're going to draw a vertical line at one end of the building wall frames, and we're going to offset or copy the line 6'6" from right to left. So I'm going to do the line command again, and I'm going to click at this top corner and click at this bottom corner, hit escape a few times. I'm going to click on my offset command. My offset distance will be 6'6". I'm going to select. I'm going to try to select just the line. Alright, perfect. Oops. There we go. I'm going to hit escape a couple times. This one was made an error, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And if you look at the diagram, it now wants us to... Oh shoot, actually I drew that line in the wrong place. Sorry. Let me take my line, and I'm going to just type in M for move. The line should actually be on the edge of the wall here. So I'm going to move this line from this endpoint or midpoint to this midpoint. Sorry. And now I'll do the offset command again. It'll be 6'6" distance. So click on that. I'm going to select the object and side to offset. I think it might be easier if I just made a mistake, so I'm going to hit escape a couple times. What I ended up doing is creating an offset of the rectangle, 6'6" inwards, that's what that is, and I also made an offset of the line 6'6" in the wrong direction, so I'm going to click on that. Let's try again. Offset distance is 6'6", good. Select the object and side. So I think if I put on my near snap, and notice when I put my near snap on, the mid snap turns off. Not sure why it needs to do that, but I'm going to use the near snap to allow me to just select any part of this line, not necessarily just the endpoints or the midpoint or an intersection, anywhere along the line. That's how near works. So I'm going to click on that line, and there we go. Now I've successfully offset that line 6'6" towards the left. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times. I'm going to initiate the offset command again. This time I want to do a 7-foot offset. And I'm going to click on this line. Again, near is still on. My near snap is on. And as you can see, what it does is it allows me to hover my cursor over any portion of this line. Right? Not just the mid or the ends, but anywhere along that line. So I'm going to click on it here. And now I've offset that line 7 feet. So there we go. We can move on, and now what we want to do is select truss from this drop down menu here. Truss. And if you click this place frame FS tool, you will actually be able to place that truss. It's asking me for a start coordinate. And if you hold the control key down, so I'm holding the control key down, click on the bottom left corner of the leftmost wall. I'm going to click right down there. I'm holding down control. I'm going to do my left click right now. Okay. And I'm going to release the control key. I'm going to click and drag. I'm just going to drag my cursor upwards. And I'm going to left click at this top corner here. And I can zoom in using my middle wheel button. Alright. There we go. Now I have a truss called TR1. In the PDF, you'll notice it says TS1. That's fine. You can use any moniker that you want, but we had established TR1 as our abbreviation for trusses. Now, step 17, I'm still in the place frame command, the FS tool, and I know that because if I look at my command line, it's asking for a start coordinate. So it wants to keep going. I haven't said no, I'm done. I'm still within the command. So what I want to do is hover over this endpoint on the right side of the building, holding down Alt, and I'm going to go ahead and left click that. I'm going to release Alt. Then I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to find this corner here and click it, and now I will have created a second truss. Now what we're going to do is, while we're holding the shift key down, we're going to click on the bottom end of the 7-foot offset line. So let's talk about this one right here, and I'm holding the shift key down. I'm going to left click right at this endpoint. Look what it does. It actually centers it upon that line. So with TR1, we held down Control and we drew our truss, and it put the truss on the right side of that line. With TR2, we used the Alt key, clicked on the endpoints of that line, of that wall, and it put the truss on the left side of that line. Now with Shift key, I can actually tell it to choose the center of the line for alignment. And I'm no longer holding the Shift key down, and I'm going to go ahead and click this endpoint here. Okay. And then we could do the same for this line here. I'm going to hold shift. I'm still in the command. I've drawn all 3 trusses so far with just the one command. So I'm holding down shift. I'm going to do a left click. I'm releasing shift, and I'm going to click here. And now we have 4 trusses. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times. I am done with this command. I'm going to go to TR1 and right click it. And go to properties. And we're going to change the frame script. So let's go to frame script right here. And we're going to change it to truss gable. Oops. Okay, let's go to the main tab. We're going to make sure the pitch is 312 and the height at wall is 9.5 inches. That's perfect. I'm going to uncheck structural webs. It's already unchecked. And then we're going to just check and make sure that our settings here under the main tab reflect the settings here in the PDF. So span, the span is not going to be something we can change. Or actually, we can. We're not going to want to change the span. But we have a 312 pitch. Left eave is 1 foot. Right eave is 1 foot. Top chord is 0, 9.5 for height at wall. Max web spacing is 2 feet. And you could just hit tab as you move along to get to each next value. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and change this to 11 feet. See what happens. Yeah, it's not going to want to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Alright. And now we're going to click on Make Default, which is going to save these settings so that when we create new trusses, it'll use these settings. We'll click on Build. And now we have an elevation of our truss. So here's my 1 foot overhang. I don't have any structural webbing. 2 feet on center. And we've got a 312 pitch. So I can go ahead and close this window. It'll take me back to my plan view. I can right click on the TS2 now, or I'm sorry, TR2. And I'll click on properties. And if I click on the cloned 2, just check this box, we can I should see TR1 here. Let me check. TR2, clone 2. Okay, sorry. So selection's a little finicky. So what I would recommend is hover over the truss, and once it turns red, go ahead and right click it. What I had just done earlier was I clicked on TR2. I think I right clicked. I clicked on TR2, right clicked it, went to properties, went to clone 2. Oh, still works. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Anyways, what we want to do is use TR1 as a template. We just set up TR1 in such a way that it had all these settings that we wanted, including a 1 foot overhang, 312 pitch, and 9.5 height at wall. So what we're going to do is hit OK, because we want to say use those settings that we just created for TR1, use them here for TR2. So if we go ahead and hit OK. Okay. Now you'll see in parentheses it says TR1. So let's go ahead and save. Alright, so next thing we want to do, I'm going to hit escape a couple times. I'm going to hover over TR3. Let's do a right click. Let's go to properties. And we're going to want to make sure it says truss full. Let's go to the main tab. Left and right eave is going to be 12 inches again. And my roof pitch should be 312, so I'll take that. I should just delete one, put 3 in there. Left eave 12, left eave, right eave 12. Hide at wall, 9.5 inches. And let's see, our max web spacing should be 2 feet. Uncheck screw access holes. Actually, it has a check, so I'll check it too. Alright, my settings reflect the ones in the PDF. I'm going to go ahead and hit build. See what that looks like. That's looking pretty cool. So I can go ahead and close this elevation, hit escape a few times, hover over TR4, right click it, go to properties, go to clone to, and choose TR3 to clone. And so basically what we did is we took TR1, used some specific settings, went to TR2, said hey, use those settings that we created for TR1. Then we did TR3, which has a different condition because it's not sitting on a wall directly below. It's just barely sitting on this wall here and this wall here. So it's actually just spanning this open space. Whereas this one over here is actually sitting directly on top of the wall. So it needs less structure. However, I think this one is sitting on top of an opening. So we'll see what that looks like. Alright, so now what we're going to want to do is we're going to create another new plan. I'm going to go here, right click on the new plan, let's go to properties, and we're going to change the name to RP, and the elevation height is going to be 8 feet, or 96 inches, whoopsies, 8 feet, okay, let's hit OK. In the Edit tab, we're going to do from the drop down menu, we're going to go to frame types. We want to verify that the default tool action for roof panels is set to on flat reverse tooling. So roof panel and default tool action on flat reverse tooling. This option will allow the horizontal members to become the stronger supporting members, as all the lip and web notches will be placed in vertical members. So let's click OK. We're going to go up here, same thing what we did earlier, and we're going to select another plan as a template. Go ahead and click that, and we're going to use RF this time, and hit F12. And that way it will center your view upon the geometry that you've drawn. We're going to select roof panel from the frame type drop down box, roof panel. And we're going to use the place frame tool, and the command bar will now ask for the vertex location. So this part's a little tricky, but you just follow along. It's actually pretty easy, but once we get over it our first time, we'll get over the hump. So what we want to do is start at the lower left point of the roof panel location, then click on the remaining 3 points in an anti-clockwise direction or counterclockwise direction. So if you look at the PDF, we're drawing a rectangle right here. So if I use this corner as my starting point, and I'm going to move around counterclockwise. I think I want to do it just to here. Okay, now I'm going to go upwards to continue my counterclockwise movement. And I think I'm going to need intersection on for this instead of near. So let's click on intersection. And boom, there it is. And I'm going to continue moving down this way, zooming in and out as I need to, and I did my fourth click. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's go ahead and hit enter. And voila, we've got a roof panel in the correct location. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times. I'm going to click on R01, right click and hit properties. In the general tab, I'm going to change the frame script. Actually, I just want to make sure that it says auto panel. I'm going to click on the make default checkbox. Let's see. Yeah, let's just click make default. Change the setup to read pitch 1404. Additional elevation 6.5 feet. Actually 6.5, just 6.5 units, which is 6.5 inches. Eve offset is going to be 12 inches. That's 1 foot. Not sure why the units are different in all three boxes, but click on make default. Click on the main tab. Change the vertical stud spacing to 4 feet. So vertical is 4 feet. That's good. And stud spacing to 2 feet. That's good there. Click on the make default. Click on the build button. And that is our roof panel there. So now we're going to go around and do the rest of the panels. So I can close this window. And let's do the place frame again. And let's click right here. Continue to go counterclockwise all around. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit enter one more time. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and place another frame. I'm going to click here. And I will click here. And there. And there. Alright, hit enter to close that polyline. I'm still in the command. I'm going to go for this corner now. I'm going to do this one next. I'm going to do that one next. And I'm going to do that one next. I'm going to press enter. Alright, I'm going to move on to this one now. Click there. Click there. Whoa. Click there. Click there. And hit enter. And one more time. I'm going to click there. There. Click there. And right there. And hit enter. Cool. going to hit escape a couple times to make sure I exit that command. So just right click on R01 and select build frame or properties, and then click on build to generate the frame. We've already generated our framing. Alternatively, you can click on the auto build button on the toolbar and then select the unbuilt frames, then select the confirm frame OK button and reselect the same frames. Use this method if you don't need to make changes to the properties. Let's try that out. Let's see, what's auto build do? Auto build will build / rebuild any selected frames. So if I click on that, select objects to build. Oh, cool. I'm going to select this object, this object, that one, and this one. Let's see if I hit enter. Wow, that was easy. Cool. Alright, so now I have all my roof panels here. And the next thing it's asking is, if the walls are not visible through the roof panels, you can click on the layer management tool and on the layer management tool button in the view tab, scroll down to the panels and change the brush style by clicking on it. Tip, the layer name can be found in the panels property dialog box. So they're just saying if you go here and you go down to panels here, you can change its brush style by simply clicking on it. Doesn't seem like the most efficient way to change it, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to actually cancel out. So what we want to do is we want to tidy up the vertical member locations. We want our verticals from one side of our garage to the other side of the garage to line up. See how these are misaligned? This one here. So we're gonna amend that. And to do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a line. L for line. Zoom in here, and let's put my midpoint snap on, and let's snap to that point there. And what I usually like to do when I draw just reference lines is I usually extend them really extra long, just so I know this has nothing to do with my actual design, my actual garage. It is just a reference line. And I'm going to take that one, take it by its control point, and move it up. Just extend it out further. Okay. What I'll do is select on that one, type in copy. My base point will be this midpoint here. And I'm going to click on that and scooch on over to the next one. And it's going to go right there. And then I'm going to put one at the midpoint of this panel down below. Now what we want to do is right click on the panel to adjust. So if I hit escape a couple times, go to R1, right click it, go to properties, go to the main tab, select the ellipses buttons to the right of the vertical references. So vertical references, click on the little ellipses here. I'm going to click on the pick button in the vertical reference dialog box. Pick. Okay. And what we want to do is zoom and position your view in the window. Verify your snaps are selected. Then click on the end of the line you have input into the drawing. Note a vertical reference point will only work if it is within the start and end of the initial panel vertex line. So now I'm in this window. I'm going to click on this endpoint. And what I want to do is say OK and build. And it opens up this elevation. I am going to go back to plan and take a look at it. And there you go. This roof panel here now has some vertical alignment according to that line I drew. That line is reference to the wall down below. So now everything's nice and tidy and cleaned up. Yours should look like the picture on page 35. Now what we want to do is make sure that the center snap is on, which is your mid snap. That's this one right here. And holding down the shift key, I'm going to click on the end of the member at ST3. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go back, sorry. What I'm going to do is take RO1, my roof panel 1, double click it. That'll bring up its elevation view. And we want to hold down the shift key and click on the end of member ST3. This one's ST3. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hold down the shift key and click on the end of it. Nope. Let's go ahead and click on ST3, hold shift, click on this endpoint, and what I want to do is find my midpoint of BP1. So I should probably have the midpoint snap on right now. And there you go. Let's hit escape a couple times. That's very odd. I'm gonna hit undo. That's looking really weird. It says it's cutting through here and here on these sticks, but they're showing this stick to the right of it for some weird reason, so I'm gonna undo that. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I think I'm just going to hit move. So I want to move it from this mid and put it on that mid. That's much cleaner. So if you zoom in, what it wants, what the PDF is wanting you to check out is the web notch and the lip notch. So it might place, when you release the member on this point, it might place it to the very edge of member BP1, resulting in a web and lip notch. Make sure the auto extend button is turned on, and then use the trim extend command to trim it back inside member BP1. So ours is actually correct. Let's see what happens if I take that stick and extend it a little bit. So this is the situation that it's talking about, is that if for some weird reason the stick that you're moving goes past BP1, it's going to have to create some notches for within this stick to allow this to occur. And what it's telling us to do is just to make sure to use the trim command to shore this up. We don't want this to be that long. So if I use the trim command, don't remember what it looks like. Oh, it's this one here. Trim. I'm going to select this one here, select object inside the trim next time to, no, sorry, I'm going to hit escape a couple times, see the trim command again. I want this one to be trimmed, this one, hello, this one, oh gosh, there we go. Select objects to trim / extend, and hit enter. Select object inside to trim to. So I'm going to use this one here. It's always hard for me to remember how this trim command works. So let's try this again. I'm just going to click on it and move the endpoint back into place. That's just the easiest. Okay. So now if we want to keep going, we're going to place some braces. So add bracing to keep the frame square. Use the same brace input method as described in section 1.44 of the wall input tutorial. And your panel should look a little something like that. So I'm going to use this place bracing button here. And what I want to do is I want to draw some bracing. According to the diagram, it goes here, in between there, and then there, and there. Alright, that was easy. And what we're going to do now is repeat the same steps for the remainder of the panels. We're going to centralize the vertical nog before inputting your braces. So let's hit escape a couple times. Let's close this elevation view and take a look at our work. There's R01, all nice and tidy and cleaned up. So now I'm going to go to R02. I'll double click that. And let's go ahead and repeat those steps. So actually, I'm going to close that. Escape, R02, right click, properties. Let's go to main, vertical references. Click the little ellipses button. Click on pick. And I'm going to pick this line there. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to double click that one. Whoa, that's not good. So, because of the way I edited R02, I did not hit build, which is why it's telling me this is false. This is a false reading. This is not the R02 that you want. So I'm going to close that, hit escape, click on R02, right click it, go to properties, and main, yeah, I'm just going to click on build. Okay, whoa, my bad. So now what I want to do is I'm going to do bracing. And go from here to here, and here to here. Here. There we go. Let's close this. Okay. So R02 is different than R01 because we did not place a vertical member here. So R01 has two of these vertical members. One is sitting and resting on the wall below, and the other one is directly in the middle. That helps us brace. That allows us to use this bracing to help keep it all nice and square. R2 is a little different. We just needed that one vertical in the middle and then the bracing. Okay. I'm going to hit escape a couple times. Click on R03. Right click it. Let's go to properties. Let's go to the main tab, vertical references. I'm going to hit the little ellipse. I'm going to hit pick. This time I want to use the line below, right there. Let's click OK, and this time let's remember to hit build. Okay, and so now all we want to do is take ST2, and I'm going to hit M for move. And I'm going to make sure my mid snap is on, which it is. I'm going to zoom in. Once I see the little triangle, I'm going to go ahead and left click that. And then once I see the triangle of BP1, which is the midpoint of BP1, I'm going to click on that, and it should shift it right over. Now I'll do place bracing, and that's going to go from here to here, and then here to here. Okay, hit escape a couple times. And let's close this. So everything's we're just cleaning everything up. Everything's going to look nice and tidy once we're done. Now for RO4, what I want to do is right click, go to properties, go to main, go to vertical references, go to pick. I'm going to pick this line here. I'm going to hit OK. Click on build. I want to take this stick, and I would like to move it from this midpoint to that one. And now I want to place my bracing. So I'm going to click on bracing here, and I actually want to do it now from here to there, and there to there. Hit escape a couple times, close this out. Whoops. I guess it flips it for me, so let's go ahead and double click on RO4. I thought I was looking at it in reference to my plan, but I guess it flipped it for me. So I'm going to delete those two pieces of bracing, select the bracing command again, and I guess I'll just do it as usual. Okay, hit escape a couple times and hit close, and there we go. That's perfect. It should be a reflection of the RO3 below. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on RO5, go to properties, let's hit main, vertical references, pick. I know it's this line because I drew it extra long. Hit OK, hit build, and that one's probably perfect, but just to double check, let's make sure to move that stick from the midpoint of that stick, and yeah, I think that one's already centered, so that one's fine. Let's hit close. Perfect, lines up right with the one below it. So let me double click it again because I forgot to put the bracing in. Click on bracing, click here, there, and there. Hit close. There we go. Hit escape a couple times. Click on RO6, right click, build frame, properties, main, vertical references, hit the ellipse, click on pick, zoom out, click on this endpoint, hit OK, hit build. Alright, so I want to take this stick, hit M for move, and I click on that midpoint and transfer it over to that midpoint. Now let's place some bracing here to there to here, hit escape, hit close. Now everything's nice, neat, and tidied up. So, what we want to do is hit File Save. And the next thing we want to do is I want to export frames to a 3D VRM file, so that way I can get a preview of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like FreeCAD Structure, where you can hit A3D a couple times and you'll get a preview right away. You actually have to export a preview. So I'm going to navigate to a very smart place that I want to place this exported file in. S23. Yeah, I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to select all and export. And it doesn't look like it's doing anything, but this progress bar will change. Or not, it'll just disappear. We're going to click on the little button here so we can preview our 3D model. Today's date is the 4th, May the 4th, be with you. And so I want to select that file that I just created and hit open. And maximize. Okay, and this is the 3D viewer. The way it works is if you right click, you can zoom in and out. You can left click and click and drag, and it'll do this really weird thing. It navigates all funky, but there we go. Gosh, I wish it didn't navigate that way. When you're in this 3D viewer, I would highly recommend that you click. If you just hover over here, there's a little sidebar that'll appear, and instead of orbit, go to turn. Turn is just much cleaner. I'm not sure what advantage orbit brings, but there you go. Your car goes through that door. I've got a door over here that I can exit out of. I've got a nice little window. Got no openings on this side. I've got a cool roof above. Everything's perfectly aligned. My OCD is happy. And there you go. So to turn in your progress for this project, I would just screenshot this 3D model here. Find a nice view of it. Let's say, usually for architecture we like to be at human level, like eye level. I think in this case it's okay to break the rules a little bit, and you can approach it from above. And zoom in a little bit more. Cool. So go ahead and screenshot that as best as you can. Usually I just use the snipping tool. One of my most favorite tools. It just screenshot it however you want, but the mode I'm going to use is full screen snip. I'm just going to do that. And there we go. I'm going to go to File, Save As, and it's going to save as a PNG or JPEG. PNG is fine. And I'm going to call it Single Car Garage. I'll put my initials at the end. And I want to make sure not to save it here where it just led me to. I actually want to make sure to put it somewhere safe. So I'm going to put it under my folder here on the desktop, where my name is and this class. And hit save. I can hit close. I can close this 3D viewer. I can close Detailer. I can go to my folder. Which one is my folder? There it is. I can navigate to where I saved that photo. And here it is. Of course, it opened it up in Paint. This is so weird. Darn Porto. Let's see. If I right click it, open with. Yeah, whatever. and then just upload this online, and we'll get a grade for you. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a good night, and I hope to see you soon.